Good evening, and thank you for staying up later. My name's Chris Connolly. Bob Costas is off tonight. Well, asked by the LA Times to describe herself, Meryl Marco once said, "Just call me a buxom, blue-eyed blonde. A leggy blue-eyed blonde, or something with the word vixen in it would be nice." Well, the careers that she's considered include stun gun salesman, hypnotist, and professor of drawing at the University of Southern California. Instead, happily, she became a writer, most notably for Late Night with David Letterman, for which she won 4 Emmys and the gratitude of all Americans for inventing stupid pet tricks. Since leaving the show, she's hosted a number of cable specials and has written a column for the late lamented magazine New York Woman. Her current book is entitled What the Dogs Taught Me. Tonight on Later, the buxom, leggy, blue-eyed blonde vixen, Meryl Marco. I was thinking of you as I was reading your book the other day, because I actually took my first trip to Las Vegas not long ago. And you, how many excursions?
It was your very first trip?
I've never gone before, and it was.
Well, I've actually only taken one trip myself.
Is that right?
That was the trip I wrote about in my book, yeah. I just found it to be totally entertaining, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I found it a lot less debauched than I kind of expected.
Oh, I think there's the debauchery there, but what I thought was great was just the wacky Americana. I mean, it's such if you're looking for wacky Americana, you need look no further. I mean, there it is. It's like, I love dopey historical recreations, and Caesar's Palace is just great for that, I think. Did you go to Caesar's Palace?
No, I didn't. I didn't even see a show. Did you catch one of the shows, like a Wayne Newton or something?
Did I ever? Well, I figured that you want to go to the dopiest show there. I went to Nudes on Ice, which which is great because it has like they give you a program and it has the different plot lines and so forth. And the part I liked was called the Russian Fantasy, where I guess it was that period of Russian history. I get this a little foggy, where something with the Tsar or whatever, and there was a crop shortage, and a lot of the women had to go without clothes. Yes. Terrible, really. But I learned from my experience at the Nudes on Ice. The more breast you expose, the less skating required.
Is that,
something true in all walks of life.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
For you here.
Well, I guess I'll remember that, you know.
Yeah.
You should, maybe Rockefeller Center could take a little lesson from that downstairs.
I think they have.
During the Christmas season, yeah. Now, recently, for Vanity Fair, in fact, you did one of your occasional experiments in alternate lifestyles, at least as taught by various people. You took a course from a dominatrix?
This was a Learning Annex class, and it was Dominatrix 101 is what it was called. It said, be a dominatrix for fun, love, or profit. I didn't really know which of those 3 I was headed for exactly, but I was like 80 different women turned up at this thing, and it was...
80 women?
Yeah, and I didn't know if any of them were there. It was hard to tell. I mean, it was really a mixed group of women. It was pretty interesting that way. And let's see. Well, it was held at that institution of higher learning, my favorite institution of higher learning, the Hyatt Hotel on Sunset Boulevard in the penthouse. And early in, it was sort of Q&A with the dominatrix who came in, and that was kind of...
Thank God it was Q&A. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an important distinction.
I think so, yeah.
But I guess the highlight of the thing was sort of midway into the class where a guy, well, a lot of guys were trying to crash the class. It was a women-only class.
A lot of guys were trying to get in to take the course, or?
No, they were just trying to come. In fact, this is true. A guy, before she started the class, a guy was hanging around, and she said, okay, this is a women-only class, but I told this guy he could talk to the class for a minute, and he just wanted to give out his business card in case anyone needed someone to practice on. True. That happened a number of times throughout the class. It was really pretty amazing. But the highlight for me was midway, a guy drove up for 3 hours from San Diego, a guy who claimed to have been in the Navy SEALs for 30 years. 30 years in the Navy SEALs. Something the Navy SEALs are going to be really proud of when I tell this story. This guy, first he gets up and he's talking to us about how he wants to detail for us how he was chasing bad guys all over the world. All this stuff that he did with Manly Danger. He's going on and on about how he detonated weapons and how he jumps out of planes and he goes deep beneath the ocean and all this kind of stuff, as a way of building up to the fact that it was that extra measure of stress that causes him to need to wear women's underwear. You know, I never really fully understood that, quite frankly, because I wear women's underwear and it isn't making me any less stressed out, let me tell you. Anyway, so then he took his pants off to show that he had on a garter belt and nylons, which I thought would be a really nice picture for the brochure for the Navy SEALs, don't you think? So he's sitting there at the front of this class like this, and then the dominatrix tells us we're supposed to practice on him, do things to practice on him. So different women are getting up. I myself was just taking notes. I had no practicing I wanted to do.
You're auditing.
That's right.
You're trying to place into Dominatrix 201. Yeah.
I was auditing.
The advanced course, yeah.
And people are getting up and doing things to him and learning whipping technique. Like I did learn an interesting little whipping technique pointer, which is that when you are whipping, you want to head for the shoulders and the back of the legs. You don't want to injure the kidneys.
Oh.
You don't want to go too. And
I would think injury was kind of part of the game.
Yeah, wouldn't you think? Yeah, injuring the kidneys, you could probably get paid more.
Yeah, well, maybe you learned that in 201.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, finally, this one woman got up. I thought this was the highlight of the trying things on the Navy SEAL section. This woman got up and she's first the dominatrix put an assortment of kind of stuff around dog collars and whips and so forth, and then this woman said to the guy, "Get down on your knees and beg like the dog that you are." And this guy did, which I guess because he's worried about his GPA, you know, it was a class. I was really amazed by it. And then she put a leash on him and she led him around, and that was the point at which I decided to get out of there because I have 4 dogs, and not one of them was as good on a leash as this guy. I put them all through that expensive training. They all pull on the leash. This guy was perfect right off the bat. I was angry.
Amazing.
I left. A bitter woman.
You're up to 4 dogs now?
I am.
Really?
Yeah, it's way too many dogs. Way too many. I don't recommend 4.
Really? Why not? What's wrong with 4?
I think around 3 too many. Well, well, just the hair factor alone. At my house right now, it looks like the old prairie. There is really, I'm not kidding. It's like the hair equivalent of tumbleweed is blowing around my house. Just these. It's like a toupee in every corner.
They have one of those dogs who, like, when you come to the door, like, gets all excited.
Well, I have 4 of those dogs. So when you come to the door, I don't have people over much anymore. It's kind of a trade-off. Yeah. Well, my one dog has a greeting disorder. My one big dog just isn't happy until he just slams you down.
You have obviously 2 relatively famous, but sadly deceased dogs, right?
Well, but I don't think of having them anymore. Yeah, I have my 2 dead dogs. Yeah. My 4 live dogs, my 2 dead dogs.
How do you sort of? I'm kind of curious how you sort of appropriately mourn the passing of a beloved dog. Do you have like a shrine to him? Do you have like pictures up? Do you remember him every now?
No, I don't. I think I appropriately mourned them by replacing them. I guess that's not very.
How did your dog?
I don't mean that in a cruel way. I guess that is what I did. I liked them so well, I went ahead and got more, signed up for more.
That's nice. That's kind of like a Brady Bunch thing. How did your dog Stan die, by the way?
Oh, my poor dog Stan. Well, I know this is going to sound funny, and it's really not. He had an overdose of ham. It was actually that fancy schmancy kind of ham, too. Well, it wasn't a bit funny at the time, believe me. I mean, I realized telling people later that it turns out to sound sort of funny, but I left him with a dog sitter, and the dog sitter left a big plate of ham out, and my dog ate like half a ham. And it's sort of interesting to know that ham can kill you. It killed a 75-pound German Shepherd. I mean, the fat content stopped his liver, his kidneys, and his pancreas. That's pretty funny, huh?
I think.
This is your world, genuine and true. Working together in all that you do, and you're giving it your best. Proud to be your bud, Budweiser. Proud to be your bud. Proud to be your bud. Ooh, yeah. Proud to be your bud.
You know, I'm used to ruining my own clothes. I didn't know it was a special blouse. It was from my mom. I went to the shower, someone bumped me. The meatballs, it went all over me. Her meatballs swim in grease. Came home, washed the blouse. The stain is not out. I poured a little bit of the Tide on there. I didn't think we were gonna get it out.
Introducing new Tide with grease releasers. Grease this tough is so tough, many detergents could leave it behind, but nothing beats Tide.
There's no stain.
There isn't any.
It's gone.
It's gone. It looks new.
If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide.
It looks better on me.
Can you shout out tough grass stains?
Sure. After 3 tries.
Then try Stain Out, a new technology from Clorox. Stain Out breaks up tough grass stains others leave behind.
Clorox Stain Out. Once in, stains are out.
You got the power. You got the power. You've got the power. You've got the power.
Now, obviously, you're very much associated with sort of late night television and late night television on this.
And so are you now.
I guess, yeah. You know, on late night television on this particular network. In fact, you appeared on Tom Snyder's show, didn't you? At some point, the Tomorrow program.
I did. I think of that as being who took the wrong turn at the power vortex. I was on Tom Snyder's show with Robin Williams, David Letterman, Billy Crystal, and me. It was 4 rising stand-up comedians. Thank you! Thank you! Who didn't rise quite as far as the others.
Was this before or after you were, or during the time where you were involved with David professionally?
I was already involved with David professionally and otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually a particularly embarrassing show because friends of mine decided it would be really funny to send me a singing telegram that was all full of like double entendres about me and Dave to my dressing room. And then Tom Snyder, having no idea what the content of this singing telegram might be, thought it would be funny to have it on the air. So I was sitting there listening to this and it was the first time I'd ever been on TV, just melting, just dying.
Telegram for Meryl Marco. This is a real surprise, yes? I have a singing telegram for you. From a couple of your friends, the homo and the hetero. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
You know them. Okay, and these are original words for you tonight. Tonight, tonight, won't be just any night. Tonight we'll see a new rising star. Tonight, we'll see Marco tonight. And our hearts, they will stop where they are. Today she's saying things so stupid. But thanks to Mr. Cupid, we know she'll be all right. So just relax and don't plan every word that you'll see on tomorrow. That's it.
Get her out of here.
Congratulations.
I guess it's sort of become kind of incorporated into our culture, but at the time, the kind of comedy you were doing, first in the morning show and then, of course, on late night, was different from what was sort of out there in the zeitgeist. How did you come up with it, and what made it different from the other stuff that was out there?
Well, this becomes a little more difficult because I can't remember how it was that different from what was out there. It was coming out of my head and out of Dave's head, so it was all of the things that we thought were interesting and original. I was really anxious by the time we hit the night show. The morning show, the rules were a little different. We were just struggling to survive and be original then. By the night show, the dramatic issue seemed to be, for me, thinking of things that didn't remind me of The Tonight Show. We were following The Tonight Show, and it used to be the way that late night programming was that The Tonight Show would succeed itself. You know, there was Jack Parr, then there was Johnny Carson, and then someone would take over there. But now there was something following The Tonight Show that was sort of not unlike in format, going to have guests and so. Well, the Tomorrow Show used to be on, but it didn't used to be the same kind of format with a desk and wacky stuff. So I always found The Tonight Show, now I'll reveal something horrible here, but I always found the original Tonight Show to be, although everyone else thinks of it as legendary and incredible, I thought it was incredibly boring. I never liked it. And so I was looking for things that were more exciting and interesting in every way that you could do with a cast of one, the one being Dave. So I was adapting a lot of editorial eye kind of stuff to the writing of it, and then using all the things that you could use as elements, you know, go out into the hall. I mean, there were certain restrictions, enormous restrictions, but then all the Tonight Show was doing was pretty much that single shot and a double shot, have the guests on, and then they had Stump the Band, and so there was a lot of stuff they weren't doing. So that was pretty much the rules as I saw them, is think of other things besides Stump the Band.
Was it your natural love of dogs that enabled you to come up with the idea for Stupid Pet Tricks?
It was my natural love of dogs, and at the time, my natural love of Dave, and knowing that we needed many, many, many things on the show that you had to do over and over and over. And so I was looking for things that would that you could do over and over again. And it occurred to me at some point when I was thinking of those things that everyone I knew at some point had brought their animal out for me and shown me the one thing that, like I was thinking at that particular moment of one evening where two people I knew had entertained us for the evening by putting socks on their Great Dane. And I just thought, everybody does that. Everyone puts socks on the Great Dane. Why don't we have the Great Dane on the show? And then that was that.
Did it stun you, the response that sort of stuff got? Did you expect it would?
I expected it, because I just find animals endlessly funny, and I assumed that there was, but you try a thing, I mean, I always assume a lot of things that don't work, too. So it was the fact that we ran an ad and we got a lot of response, then it kind of, anything you get a lot of response to when you're filling up it's like writing a newspaper doing a 5-day-a-week thing. Every day there's all the same amount of time left. So you have to keep thinking of, if you don't have things you can repeat, you're starting all over again from scratch every single day. So something that you can do more than once is the bread and butter of the whole thing.
Did you used to go through the yellow pages to find places to go and things like that?
Well, I used to be in charge of a lot of the remotes on late night for the many years that I was working there. And when I say a lot, I mean, I guess all of the remotes at some point. And yeah, that was what I was doing. I was just going through the yellow pages because I figured that pretty much everything on the yellow pages hadn't been on TV yet. So, and still is the case. I don't think it's been on TV since.
I guess that's probably true. Of course, you've done remotes with great success. One famous one, I guess, is the Mickey Rooney yogurt.
Well, it's not particularly famous, but it's about to be. It's famous. Yeah, when I left late night, I worked in local news in Los Angeles for a couple of years. I was doing the not particularly highly rated Merrill's L.A.
There was even more excitement than usual in Thousand Oaks today when a brand new frozen yogurt store opened its doors. And not just anybody's frozen yogurt store.
I was the only person to go out and cover Mickey Rooney was opening a yogurt parlor. You know, he used to, when I lived here in New York, he had the Weenie World, and he had he's always had these weird businesses that I've always found fairly amusing. Mm-hmm. So I was pleased to be able to go cover his yogurt parlor opening, and I was the only press that was there, oddly enough. Not so oddly after all, but they had a ribbon cutting ceremony, and they had a high school band was playing and stuff. And then I got on Mickey Rooney's nerves really quickly, and you know, God bless this station I was working for. They aired the darn thing. Mickey Rooney was yelling at me, kind of. He was sort of threatening me, actually. I found it fairly funny when I watched it later.
What are we looking forward to for festivities here?
Here? Oh, we're going to have a few strippers.
Oh, really?
And, of course, well, we've got one of the most wonderful bands in the world. We've got with Thousand Oaks High School Band.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, don't you make fun of me. I'm bigger than you are.
Don't ever do that because you'll never know what's behind a book cover, honey. Don't ever do that.
Uh-oh.
No, I love you too much.
Oh, boy. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Problems. Solutions. Pour Gum Out fuel system cleaners right in your gas tank, and with just one tank full, you'll get better engine performance. Gum Out, solutions to engine problems. From the people at Pennzoil.
Have you ever borrowed a book from thousands of miles away? Across the country?
Just ahead, take next exit.
Without stopping for directions?
Route 101.
Or sent someone a fax? From the beach? You will. And the company that'll bring it to you, AT&T.
On the next Entertainment Tonight,
Marilyn!
The search for Marilyn Monroe continues. 90210's Jason Priestley tells why he's desperately seeking Marilyn on screen and off.
There's a fascination that's been there ever since she was, at the height of her popularity.
Plus, she's doing more than solving mysteries. By casting Madeline Rue in Murder, She Wrote, Angela Lansbury's helping a friend fight a traumatic disease.
We wanted an actress of her stature, and we got it.
On the next E.T., the hottest from Hollywood, tomorrow at 7.
Now, nearly 5,000 Californians die of breast cancer every year, but monthly self-breast exams lead to early detection and cure. Channel 4 is offering a free, do-it-yourself breast exam shower card made of durable plastic with easy-to-read instructions. For your free copy, send a legal-size, self-addressed stamped envelope to KNBC TV, Burbank, California, 91523.
There's been some speculation in the press now, obviously, with all these late-night things going on, as to why there aren't more women.
So you're saying there are a lot of late-night things going on now?
Apparently, yes. From you know, you pick up the Times every now and then. Apparently,
yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard about that yet. So there's more shows coming on, apparently.
Yeah, that's what I understand. Yeah. Why aren't there more women involved as writers, as people?
So you're saying there are no women involved in Really? Huh? So there are like how many are involved? None?
Apparently none. Virtually none. Yeah.
Interesting. Why would that be, do you think?
Beats the heck out of me.
Sure, there's none. There's no women involved.
Virtually none.
Isn't that wow?
What
are the chances of that happening?
Almost none.
Yeah.
Is there a sensibility thing about late night? Because obviously women are heavily involved in sitcoms.
Yeah, you're thinking it's 50% of the population. Wouldn't you think there'd be like some women involved? Jeez,
no?
How could that happen?
Well, did you hire? Did you hire women when you were a head writer here?
No. As a matter of fact, I didn't. And I'm proud of it. Well, you know, the weird thing was when I was head writing for Dave and not hiring any women my very own self, the task really, oddly enough, in a show like that is a lot of people being Dave's alter ego. And at the time, he says no to most material that people submit, so you really have to load the gun with a lot of bullets that you think are going to fire. And the material that I read, there was not much submitted by women, and the material that I read by the few women who submitted didn't seem to particularly match the sensibility of Dave, which was, it's not a creative open forum to write for Dave. It's about giving Dave the real fact of a show like Dave's show is if Dave could, he would write it all himself. He used to write, these guys used to be stand-ups, and they used to write all their material themselves, and everybody has to be their alter ego. Now, I, myself, was a pretty good alter ego for him because I had given grisly new depth to the term codependent by living with him and writing for him. So, I kind of had that down, and but I was picking other people who reminded me of his sensibility. Now, on the other hand, if I myself had a late night show, I think I would hire probably all women to write. Of course, I would hire you.
Well, and you know,
I'm not all women, but
I'm not all woman, but there's some, you know.
But it's a question of matching a sensibility. I mean, how it comes to be that there are no women in late night, I don't know.
How hard was it for you to leave late night?
Well, it wasn't particularly hard.
Why did you want to do it?
Well, Dave and I were living together, as you know, and when a relationship breaks up, really often you don't care to work with a person anymore. But you know, the good news is there's nothing really uncomfortable at all about seeing him on TV day and night. That's not a Fellini problem. My life just seems like Fellini to me. Like constantly see your old boyfriend, not just showing up on TV unexpectedly all the time and in the press and everywhere and every cover of everything, but really looking good. It's like a good showcase, you know, looking good, nice lighting, saying something clever, doing the best, cutest thing he ever could do.
You'd sort of prefer like a "will work for food" sign or something.
At the very least.
Like an exit, you know? That kind of thing.
If your old boyfriend's going to show up, they shouldn't have good lighting.
Did you consider going on the show when the book came out? Did you think about going on late night?
Aren't you being probing now?
Well, you know, we're coming in real tight now. They're doing one of those like current affair push-ins, you know.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't book me. Yeah, actually, I did. I actually thought I was going to go on the show when the book came out in hardcover because they invited me, but then they got mad that I went on Arsenio and the Tonight Show. But I had sort of a fun thing that I was going to do, which I'll share with you now because apparently I'm not going to do it. I was saving his mail because some of his mail still comes to the house. I was saving a big pile of his mail, and then I was going to come out and sit down and say, please excuse me if I'm off here or anything, but have you not been home in really a long time? I thought it would have been funny.
Okay, lose competition or bowling? Lose. Bowling. Okay, we'll watch bowling.
Light presents Luge Bowling. Cool! Boy, is he fast.
He better be, Bob, because here come those bowling balls.
Brought to you by Miller Lite. If you can combine great taste with less filling, you can combine anything.
He's got the angle. Oh, no, it's a 7-10 split.
Oh, nice pickup.
Great taste, less filling. Can your band do this?
Everybody wants a battery that goes the distance. But you never know when they're about to run out of gas. Only Duracell has the copper top battery tester. So you can be sure your batteries will keep going down the road. For batteries you know will last, you can't top the copper top.
After most meals and snacks, plaque pH can fall to levels where acid starts attacking teeth. These attacks can last up to 2 hours, increasing the risk of damage to your tooth enamel. That's when chewing extra sugar-free gum can help. When you chew for 20 minutes, the chewing action produces and distributes more of your mouth's natural defense, saliva, which helps neutralize acid within minutes. So in addition to regular dental care, after eating, chew Wrigley's extra sugar-free gum, because chewing helps nature fight the acid attack.
She's running a little sluggish today.
The brakes don't sound too good either.
At Econo Tune, you can count on low prices. Our trained mechanics will perform a complete diagnostic tune-up and change your oil without making you wait all day. We'll even fix your brakes. All of these great services with no appointment, no waiting, no kidding.
Hit it!
Call 1-800-975-TUNE for valuable coupons worth up to $100. Econo Tune, the sign of great car service.
So thanks a lot for talking to us. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you for talking to me.
Hey, and we followed, I guess, your first late night ever, the first late night with David Letterman ever done. Do you remember how tense you were that day? Was it?
Yeah, I remember just a vein in my head throbbing is what I seem to remember.
Well,
it was really nerve-wracking, actually. It was extremely nerve-wracking. It was like a gun to the head kind of a situation. We felt that even though we were on for a period of time, well, Dave always felt every minute that I worked with him that we were going to get canceled, and we didn't think the first show would be the day we wanted to get canceled, particularly. So we were hoping for that one to go okay.
Well, congratulations having made it this far.
For what?
We'll figure that out eventually. And thank you for staying up later with us. I'm Chris Conley. Bob Costas comes back next week. We'll see you again on Later.